Today I'm showing you how to get started running and everything that I wish I knew when I started my running journey. There's a ton of videos online on how to get started running, but I wanted to share my personal experience based on the things that I've been through and the things that I had to learn the hard way to get where I am today as a runner. To give you a little bit of context, I finished 7 half marathons so far. My PB in the half marathon is 1 hour and 46 minutes. And I finished 1 full marathon so far, with my PB being 4 hours and 31 minutes. I have my 2nd full marathon coming up here on January 18th, and my goal is to go sub 4. The tips I'm giving you today are things that I use on a daily basis to train for my next marathon. If you're here watching this video, I just want to give you some props because you're taking the first step in becoming a runner. Getting started in your running journey isn't easy, and that's why I want to give you 3 no BS tips on how to get started and how to avoid the pitfalls that I ran into when I started my running journey. Let's lace up our shoes and get straight into it. All right, y'all, so I got my shoes laced up, got on the Nike Pegasus 41 today. If you're looking for a good everyday trainer, the Nike Pegasus 41 is a great shoe. It's cost effective and it's very versatile. You could do zone 2 runs in it, you could do interval runs, and you might even be able to get away and do some speed workouts in it as well. So if you're looking for a good everyday trainer, the Nike Pegasus 41 is solid. I actually want to do a video on running gear, so if that's something that you guys are interested in, drop a comment and let me know. But let's get into tip number 1 of how to get started in your running journey. Tip number 1 of getting started in your running journey is to build the habit. So right now, I'm talking to those runners that you're inconsistent. You might be running here and there, maybe like once or twice a week, and then you skip a week and you're not really consistent in your running. Maybe you're lifting weights or you do some type of HIIT workout or high rocks training, things like that. But the runner that really wants to become more consistent and really see improvement in their running, this one is for you. If you're looking to get onto the road, I recommend first, tip number 1 is to build the habit. So we are focused on building consistency over focusing on intensity. Consistency over intensity is really important when you first start to hit the road to run. So in order to build the habit, what I recommend doing is we're not going to focus on our pace, our heart rate, or how many miles we're running. Right now, honestly, that's irrelevant for us. You'll see a lot of content creators or coaches talking about running at zone 2, which is really important and something that I'm going to talk about later in this video. But if you're just getting started now, you haven't been running, you don't have any type of conditioning or foundation built quite yet, trying to get out and run zone 2 for your first run is going to be damn near impossible. You're going to be running like a 14-minute mile and you're going to have to walk and run. Trying to focus on zone 2 heart rate right now, if you're just getting started, is going to do nothing but discourage you and stress you out. And I had to learn that the hard way. So I want to let you guys know a concrete, no BS tip on how to hit the road and get started. So get a pen and paper if you want to write this down. I recommend running 3 times per week for 30 minutes at a time. Again, we're not focused on pace, heart rate, or distance. We just want to focus on time on feet and building the habit of becoming a runner. We got to train our body and our mind to let them know like, hey, this is what we do now. We run now, and you better get used to it. The human body is amazing, and it's gonna adapt. Running is gonna suck at first. I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat it. We gotta get through that initial phase of it being challenging in order to build up to feeling good when we run. And the way we're gonna do that is focusing on our consistency more than we're focusing on our intensity. I can tell you from my own experience, when I first started running, when I really wanted to start doing races and being more serious about my running, I used to hit the road and I would try to set a personal best every time. I would be running anywhere between 3 to 5 miles, and every training session would be completely miserable. Like, yes, I got a nice runner's high. I would feel good every other session when I did end up setting a PB. I would dread each session because I knew how challenging it was gonna be. And that's not the way to make progress. Of course, we want to put that work in, we want to work hard and have some intensity, but we got to train smart as well. So first tip for you is to build the habit of running. Focus on consistency over intensity. We're not going to focus on the pace, heart rate, or distance quite yet. we're gonna start focusing on time on feet. So we want you running 3 times per week for about 30 minutes at a time. And I don't care if you have to walk and run, simply just walk the whole 30 minutes or run at a really slow pace. It really doesn't matter. What we're doing is showing ourselves that we can show up consistently day over day. When we have a training session on the schedule, we show up and we get it done. That's gonna help us identify as a runner, which is really important. Your mindset, you see yourself as someone that does run rather than seeing yourself as someone that's not a runner. And then of course, we're training our body. Our body is amazing. It's gonna adapt. Our joints are gonna get stronger. Our heart is gonna get stronger. Our lungs are gonna get stronger by building this consistency. I have a zone 2 run today for my marathon prep. I'm building that big aerobic base so that I can run this 26.2 miles. After I finish my run, I'm gonna hit you guys with tip number 2 on how to get started in your running journey. Let's get straight to it.
All right, fam, we got a zone 2 run. We shooting for 145 to 155 beats per minute. Average pace, hopefully around 9:30. We'll see what's up. It's a little warm outside, so it might be a little bit slower, but we're gonna get straight to this work, man. Let's get it. Let's get into tip number 2, how to get started with your running journey. Let's get it. So tip number 2 of how to get started. Now that we've built the habit of running, running is now a habit. We've been running 3 times a week for 30 minutes at a time. And we've done that, say, for 3 to 4 weeks. And we've consistently showed up each week, knocked out our 3 runs. And we're starting to feel pretty good. We're starting to make some progress. Running is starting to feel a little bit easier. It's easier to get up in the morning or after work and lace up those shoes and hit the road. We've built the foundation and the habit of starting running. So now once we have established that, tip number 2 is to follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of our runs should be at a zone 2 pace. For me, that is a heart rate anywhere between 145 beats per minute to 150 beats per minute. And this is something that took me a while to learn. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Zone 2 is something that I had to learn over time. I wasn't the biggest believer in zone 2, but now as I'm 6 weeks into my second marathon training prep, I'm really focused on having 80% of my runs at a zone 2 easy conversational pace, and then 20% of my runs are more challenging. So threshold runs, fartlek runs, interval or track workouts. What this is going to allow us to do is build an engine. I like to think of it as a pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid that we started out with is building the habit of running. And then the second portion of the pyramid is going to be getting specific with our training. So 80% zone 2, 20% speed work. By focusing on zone 2, and I'll tell you guys, before I say this, I want to let you know, I was not a believer in zone 2. For me, it did not make sense. If I wanted to get faster, in my mind, logically, I need to train faster in order to get faster. Like, how am I going to get faster if I'm not running faster? It didn't make sense for me. I put my ego aside and I gave zone 2 runs an honest effort. And I can tell you, my heart rate is lower for a longer distance at a faster pace. My heart rate is lower for a longer distance at a faster pace. In my opinion, that's the definition of getting better as a runner. And I feel like I've really made some good strides here in this marathon prep, and I'm feeling really confident going into the second marathon. We're gonna hit sub 4, best believe it. Think of zone 2 runs as building up that engine. A zone 2 run should feel just hard enough, and you shouldn't feel too depleted after the run. And what that's gonna do for you is it's gonna allow you to spend more time training. Think about it. If you go out onto the road and you're running as fast as you can, how many times per week are you going to be able to do that? Where in comparison, if you get out on the road, but you give just the right amount of effort, you're not too depleted after your run, you're going to be able to show up and run 4 to 6 days a week. And that's why we really got to focus on training smarter and not harder. And our tip number 1, we focus on building the habit of running. Tip number 2, we're going to start training with some strategy. We're going to be running 80% at a zone 2 pace and 20% at threshold or speed work. I have a Garmin Forerunner 55 watch, and it had my zone 2 heart rate at like 131 beats per minute, which was way too low. Like I couldn't even break a sweat, and my body would start to cool down and get tight because I was running too slow. I adjusted a little bit. I actually used ChatGPT to help me calculate it based on like runs that I've done. I fed it a bunch of data, my age, my height, all that, my weight and all that stuff. And it spit out a heart rate anywhere between 145 to 150, which has actually been really perfect. It's the perfect sweet spot for me for my heart rate. So tip number 2 is to follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of your runs should be easy, zone 2, conversational pace. 20% of your runs are focused on speed work or threshold, really pushing the limit. I'm about to wrap up my day of marathon prep. I have a back and bicep workout today. So we're gonna get in here, get a nice little pump, and then I'm gonna be right back with y'all for tip number 3 on how to get started with your running journey. All right, fam, so we just wrapped up a nice little back and bi workout. Feeling good. I love days like this where I can do my cardio in the morning, come back to the crib, get a little snack in, and then hit the gym and get a workout in, get a nice little pump going, you know what I'm saying? So far in this video, we went over tip number 1, building the foundation and building the habit of becoming a runner. We're not worried about pace, distance, or heart rate. We're simply just trying to build the habit of running. And then tip number 2 that we went over was following that 80-20 rule. 80% of our runs at a zone 2 pace and 20% of our runs doing speed work. This is gonna allow us to build that big aerobic base and become a better runner. And what I mean by becoming a better runner is being able to run longer distances at a faster pace with a lower heart rate. That, in my opinion, is the definition of becoming a better runner. And then tip number 3 I want to go over with you guys is lifting weights. Lifting weights as a runner is very important. Not only for the aesthetic benefits, of course we all want to look good, we want to be jacked and feel strong. The primary reason why I recommend lifting weights when you're running is for durability. Lifting weights is going to make you a more durable athlete. It's going to help you prevent injury on those long runs. Or when you're just running day after day, you're breaking your body down. You have to have a strong, solid foundation, and running is not enough for that. So a couple of things that you should be focusing on is your glutes, hamstrings, quads, and calves. And that can look like hip thrusts, barbell back squats, Bulgarian split squats, walking lunges, and of course calf raises. And then you can't sleep on your core as well. Doing things like planks, Russian twists, wood chops. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but having a strong, solid foundation, building up that nice lean muscle mass is very important for us as runners. Without it, man, yeah, we might have the cardio, we have a strong heart, strong lungs, but if we don't have the muscle to carry us to the distance we want to go, all that cardio is for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So not only is lifting weights going to make you more durable, it's also going to make you more explosive, more powerful, which is going to make you faster and make you run more efficiently. When your body is stronger, you're able to run with less effort. Your body has the strength that it needs to take you from point A to point B. And these might be very simple tips. A lot of the times, the things we need to do are simple, but not easy. Running 3 times a week for 30 minutes at a time, it's simple, but it's not easy, especially if you haven't been running at all. Running at a zone 2 pace 5 days a week is simple, but it's not easy. It can get boring, it can get tedious, but you have to stick with it. And then lifting weights, it's simple. You got to go into the gym, you got to pick up some heavy shit and put it back down, but it's not easy. But if you incorporate these 3 different tips that I give you, I guarantee you will become a better runner. So there you have it, gang. That's my 3 tips on how to get started with your running journey. Build the habit, master zone 2, and then build some strength. If you take these 3 tips and you implement them into your training, there's no way you're not going to become a better runner. I hope you guys got a ton of value out of this video. Make sure that you subscribe, follow me on IG for that daily content, turn your post notifications on. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video, man. Peace.